What up, y'all? Yona David here. Today we're going to talk about water service. Now, I'm going to present this less as like a right or wrong, and more as like options that you can use depending on which level of service that you find yourself working in at the time, right? So it's a simple question. What is the best kind of modus operandi? What's the best rule of thumb when it comes to water service? Is it best to refill it when it's half empty? Is it best to refill it when the glass is all the way empty? And the answer is essentially depends on what works best for you and your specific service application, right? But I'll give you my perspective on it and why I would wager the proper answer is whenever there's room. And even then, that's only partially the right answer. The real right answer, if there is one outside of, the subjectivity of the answer. If there is a right answer, it is one thing that supersedes whenever there's room to put water in the glass, but I'll come to that in a little bit. So I err on the side of the common rule, the industry standard generally, most people do is about halfway full. It's like the actual industry standard from casual all the way up to fine, right? That's what most people have as a rule of thumb. What I would prescribe as like really dope service or high level hospitality would be aggressive watering. That's the style that I generally go for. And the reason why is this is because it's the most tactful and it provides you the most tactical opportunities where your table is concerned. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'll give you an example. This is a common one. What a lot of people do, you've seen it before, when you get to the end of their food service, you've probably dropped dessert or dropped the dessert menu and they said no. And now they're sitting there. And let's say it's Saturday night. Saturday, it's busy. You need to get the tables turned and burned, right? So what a lot of people will do and teacher service will do is to increase the rate at which you're watering your guest glass. And while I don't really agree with this, the reason I still wind up doing it is because of why I said is the actual reason you want to, the rule of thumb that's better than if there's room in the glass. The reason you want to go for what's better than refilling the water when there's room in the glass, which is, like I said, in my opinion, probably a little bit better than the industry standard of refilling it when it's halfway full, at least, is pour the water until they tell you to stop. Pour the water until they tell you to stop. That's when you've poured enough water, when they tell you, I don't want any more. That's how you know you've done your job as far as watering concerns. We say that one because it's measurable. It's not nebulous. It's not a artistic type concept, right? It's nailed down because someone's giving you a parameter, one. Two, the tacticalness that I was talking about in the example provided at the end of the meal when it's dessert or after dessert. If you try to do that, a lot of people dine out enough to know what that means as a communication. Now, some people will appreciate that communication as a subtle form of communication that it is, and they'll, cut it short and keep it moving. But some people will notice that, get upset, and then stay there to spite you because you're pouring the water, or tell you to stop pouring the water because you're overdoing it, you know what I'm saying? Or because they're finding your presence and doing it rude. Now, the way you get around this is the reason why you err on aggressive water service, is because if you're pouring the water like that the whole time throughout the meal, no one's going to look twice if you're doing that at the end of the meal. So there's no reason for anyone to feel like you're being aggressive or passive aggressive in trying to turn and burn the table. The other reason it affords you, like I said, the best tactical advantage in aggressive watering is because it allows you to be there at the table without having to interrupt their conversations, interrupt their service. Sometimes when I'm pouring water for a guest, I'm very into manners and manners oriented, but sometimes if I definitely don't want to break the atmosphere, I don't even respond. Or if a guest says, thank you for the water, I just, wordlessly nod or don't say anything and just keep moving, just because that's how much I want to maintain their atmosphere and not interfere, you know what I'm saying? But I still want to know what's going on. I want to see what I can clear out of the table's way. I want to see maybe what silverware I need to preset next, et cetera, right? And aggressive water service is definitely a way to do that. In terms of one of the tools in your tool belt, aggressive water service is the best way to do it. When I say aggressive, I don't literally mean aggressive. I just mean hyper attentive. You know what I'm saying? It allows you to be at the table without hovering at the table and just, oh, I'm just checking on y'all. Oh, y'all doing all right? How are y'all doing over here? Is everything tasting okay over here? How are y'all? You know what I'm saying? Without having to do that all the time. But staying active and present in your section as much as possible. So that's my little nougat of wisdom today for water service. What's the type of water service that you use most likely, or what's the rule of thumb that you go by? Maybe drop me a comment below and tell me what you think.